Welcome back to Sharks Alumni Rewind, presented by SAP. I'm Ted Ramey, the host of Morning Tide on the Sharks Audio Network. I am here inside the SAP suite, inside the arena, coming to you live here. In between periods, we had a hot second period there. The Sharks struck back, have got themselves back into this game, but it also saw a change at goalie. And that was the first thing that I wanted to get into here with our Sharks alumni member, Kyle McLaren. Kyle, thank you again for joining us here on Sharks Alumni Rewind. But I want to get your thoughts on the change at goalie here, because this is one that, we look a couple of nights ago, Devin Dubnyk gave up 7 goals in the game. The Sharks scored 6 and lost at home, which is, I guess that happens sometimes. That's hockey. You're always going to see something new. But, Jones, those first 2 goals, not a lot he could do, in my opinion. Not a goalie, obviously. The third one, I thought he should have stopped. But Bob Bugner's constantly harped on the idea that you have to come up with those big saves at times. And so he goes the change and brings in Dubnyk. Now, for you, if you're in a game where that change is made this early in a game, what does that send to as in terms of a message to you? What does the team react to that? How does everyone respond to it?
Well, again, sometimes, again, a goalie change, it kind of calms the guys down maybe a little bit. Maybe it kind of wakes you up. Like, it's not Jones's fault. I mean, there's a lot of times where, like you said, is the first 2 goals, I don't think he had a chance on either one of them. The third one, he should have stopped. I mean, it was a long shot. I thought he saw it the whole way. You never know what comes in front of you that way. But again, it just sends a different message to the team. And then with Dubnyk coming in there, I think one of his first saves, I mean, it could have been 4-0 right there. And then after that save, the team kind of built momentum after that, and then getting 2 quick goals after that. So again, as momentum change after one big save, after the goalie was pulled for the backup goalie, the Sharks are on a roll right now.
It's interesting how much momentum can play a role in a game like this, where you're down 3-0. Like you said, it could have been 4-0, and then suddenly the Sharks fight their way back into it. That first goal from Burns, when it happened, I thought to myself, how on earth did that not go in? It turned out it did go in. When you see a guy with that type of slap shot, you just kind of shake your head at it sometimes.
You know what? He's a great player. He knows how to score. And again, that's what I said in the first intermission is put the puck on net. This is their 3rd string goaltender. Is start chucking everything at the net and see what goes in, see what he saves. And to me, I don't think he's looking to score there. He's either looking for a tip, a rebound, or somebody in front of the net to get a second chance. And so, when it goes in, and it was a quick goal, because I actually was like, that didn't sound like post to me. It sounded like it went in. And then when they blew the whistle, or when they blew the horn, everyone was like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
So, and then it went in. So, again, it started throwing more pucks at the net. And the second goal is the same way.
Yeah, Nieto, just a beautiful shot there, and was able to set himself up perfectly. And, we talked about the California hockey culture, and, he's a guy that's in many ways, he's a result of Wayne Gretzky coming to Los Angeles, which leads to the Sharks and the Ducks and, of course, Las Vegas and now Seattle. It's part of that California hockey culture that didn't exist previously.
Yeah, without Wayne Gretzky coming to LA, I don't think there'd be all this hockey stuff, even minor hockey with these younger kids, skating on the ice, and Vegas is one of them. So, my condolences, by the way, to the Gretzky family for Walter passing today. But again, is without Wayne coming here, hockey, I don't think would have taken off as much as it did. And it's gotten a lot bigger since he left here. And it's a testament to the California kids coming up now that actually got on the ice instead of the surfboard or the basketball court. And it's nice to see.
It is. It really is. And especially when it leads to a goal like that gets the Sharks right back into it. So that momentum, it totally changed in that second period. Now the third period looms. What do you think the messaging is in the dressing room right now that's either coming from Bob Bugner or coming from Logan Couture or coming from Brent Burns, whoever it's going to be?
Yeah, to me, it's all of this. Put pucks on net, get traffic in front of the net, and defend your goalie. Again, they've already had a goalie change. So they can't change goalies again, or I wouldn't see it. So, again, is put pucks, traffic, everything you can on the net. You got 20 minutes to win a game, and you're only down by 1 goal. So, I mean, there's a chance the Sharks can come back and win this game, either if it's a regulation win, overtime win, or a shootout win. They have a chance right now to win.
In a game like this where you do feel like things can change, would you talk to whoever you were paired with, or would the defensemen talk amongst each other, or was it not that segmented like that? Was it just everybody talking amongst themselves?
No, it's what you can do better. I mean, if I was playing with my partner, it's what we can do better, what we're seeing on the ice. There's certain things or certain shifts that you can build off. You know, this worked, and seeing what the other team is doing. So again, it's talking with your forwards, and you want just certain plays that you're seeing on the ice. But again, I think they're playing well. Is again, put pucks on net and just kind of try to keep Vegas off the board, because Vegas is a really talented team that knows how to win games. So again, the Sharks have their workout cut out for them, but again, stick to the game plan.
Yeah, that's one of the things Bob Bugner consistently says is, stick to the system, don't go off script. And we'll see if the Sharks can stick with that here in the third period in a 1-goal game. I'm curious, Kyle, thinking back on your career, was there a player that you really enjoyed going up against? And that was either because they brought out good play out of you, or just because, you didn't like them at all and you took joy in shutting them down?
You know what? There's a bunch of different players that I didn't like playing against, but I enjoyed playing with them against them also. And again, it's not all of them are with Sharks. It's when I was in Boston, like Eric Lindros, when he was with Philadelphia. When I was out here, Forsberg, Sakic. Those guys were hard to play against. A lot of the older players. And then, of course, my favorite player probably playing with would be Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
I played with him in Boston, played with him here in San Jose, and I still love watching them play. But again, Patrick Marleau too, Mr. Shark. There's a lot of players. And, when I was in Boston, I hated playing against Ola Nolan, but playing with him is you want him on your team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those are those things that are like, oh my God, I hated playing against you, but now that you're on my team, it's like, thank you. Now I see a different side of you that is because again, as you watch on the other side and it's like, no, but now that you play with them, it's just a different feeling.
Patty's still going, and he's going after the all-times games record, and assuming everything goes to plan, that's going to happen here.
Yep.
Did you just marvel at the fact that he's still going strong? Like he's not as fast as he was, in his prime, obviously, but I still watch him beat guys to the puck. I still watch him just move effortlessly, and it's not lip service when Cooch is saying the same things after games either, man. It blows me away. Does it blow you away?
Yeah, you know what? That's a lot of games played, and a lot of games played in a row too. So, you know what? The thing is he plays the right way. He doesn't back down from the corners. He doesn't back down from going in front of the net. He relatively has stayed injury-free. Knock on wood, that he stays that way. Takes care of his body, and those are the main things. But it's a marvel to watch him play. He came in 2 years after I came in the league with Joe Thornton, of course. But again, he's one of my close friends on the Sharks team. But it's a marvel to see them both play, Joe and Patty, at the age and what they're playing. Like, they're both fabulous players, but I wouldn't discount his speed. He's still pretty fast.
Yeah,
he could probably beat me over the ice right now, twice over backwards. I'll tell you that.
Who did you hate to go against when you were playing, where you knew that just all night long you were either going to get beat up, or that you knew your legs were just going to be done by the time 60 minutes had been played?
When we played the Calgary Flames in the playoffs a couple of years, all those players were just, Joe McGinley was, he just brought it every single night, and you knew he's going to score some goals. He was going to back check. He was going to hit you. And those are the guys that you go, knowing that you're going to get hit every time you touch the puck. Those were grinds. But again, that's what the game was back in the days. You knew once you touch that puck, you're going to get hit by somebody.
There's some guys out there that enjoy that physicality where a guy,
Yep.
a guy on another team will hit them, come with a hard check, and you can almost see them smile at it. And they're kind of
Yep.
feeding off it. How would you react when you were going up against one of those guys who are just like, man, they're just out there having fun. They love
Yep.
the fact that I just slammed them into the boards.
Yeah, you know what? If I didn't feel beat up after a game, I felt I wasn't doing my job. And you know what? I could score goals or whatever, but my job was to basically, I wouldn't say hurt other people, it's hit them, do my defensive job, score goals when I could. But again, it's when I wasn't hit, I wasn't hitting somebody else. And so again, it gets you in the game. But if I walked after a game, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, my shoulders are sore, my hips are sore from trying to hip check people. That's usually when I was at my best.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense, obviously, because you know that you were putting in the work. You were doing the dirty work there and going out there and feeding the grind. What fan base did you like to go to in silence? Like what barn did you want to go into and just say, I'm going to shut these guys all up tonight. We're not going to or whatever role they're on, we're going to go out here and be the bad guys.
Well, you mean growing up in Canada and Alberta, one of my favorite teams growing up was Edmonton. So I loved going in and shutting down Edmonton every time I could. And also Calgary. My parents grew up Calgary fans, and I hated Calgary. I hated watching them play on TV because it was a local station. Those were the two teams that I always wanted to go in there and just silence them as quick as I could. And walking away with a win against those guys always made it extra special.
Who was your hockey hero growing up? Who was the guy that you either inspired you or you wanted to emulate or just made you fall that much more in love with the game?
Well, you mean growing up in Canada, there's a ton of great defensemen, a ton of great players. But you mean I watched hockey in Canada growing up, and it was every Saturday night, 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And whenever we got a chance to watch the Bruins, Ray Bork was one of my idols. And I got fortunate enough to play with him when I was in Boston, but he was the one. I mean, I love watching Gretzky. I love watching the Oilers, Larry Robinson, Paul Coffey. There's a lot of great players that I grew up emulating. Never was one like them, but I do have to say I got to meet most of my idols playing against them. And then after the games, and a couple of them I became close friends with.
What's that like when you do go up against somebody that you previously held in such a high regard? Because I would imagine there's still, in every hockey player, there's still that kid that fell in love with the game. But at the same time, you're like, now it's my job to go out there and stop them.
Yeah. Well, you mean my biggest one was probably either Mary Lemieux or Wayne Gretzky. And Gretzky was, I think, in St. Louis at the time, or the New York Rangers. And just playing against him, I mean, he is arguably one of the best players. And then Mario Lemieux playing against him when I was in Boston. I'll tell you a funny story. As I sticked him, he was coming on me. He was one-on-one, and I missed the puck, and I cut him right up here. And it's Mario Lemieux, and I'm like, he went down like in a heap. He's bleeding all over the place. And I jumped on top of him. I'm like, I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. And all their tough guys come over and they're trying to jump me. And he's like, hey, kid, I got it. And I was like 19 years old at the time. Like, oh my God, this is not a good story. But I'm like, those two guys, I mean, I loved playing against them because I grew up, rooting for them. But those were the scariest times against those guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just about out of time, Kyle. And I got to ask you now, while we've still got you here, what are you looking for in these first couple of minutes here from the Sharks? Big third period coming.
Yeah, you know what? Just find a way to put pucks on net, get traffic in front of the net. This is not their starting goaltending, and grind away. I mean, the Sharks are a grinding team this year, and if they get away from that, then they're not going to win. But again, it's grind it out. Use all your players and put pucks on the net.
Kyle, man, really appreciate your time here on Sharks Alumni Rewind. And I hope that sooner rather than later, we can get you back here at the arena when we're not dealing with a pandemic and things are back to normal, man. But this has been awesome talking with you. I really appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Ted. I appreciate it too.
Again, everyone, that is Kyle McLaren. Again, we've had a great time talking with him, and be back tomorrow night here on Sharks Alumni Rewind presented by SAP. We are going to be talking with Dan Boyle. So looking forward to that very much. We've got a big third period ahead of us. You got to get on and watch that. But you've been on Sharks Alumni Rewind presented by SAP.